Thanks to all of my co-candidates for the position of Mayor of the District of Columbia. I've had the great opportunity to work with TENAC, not just as mayor, but as a city council member for 6 years. The work that Jim and all of you have done is the work that just couldn't be more important in a city with this many renters. And I can certainly look forward to continuing that hard work in the years to come. I do want to note, I think everybody in the room, certainly all the candidates running, in fact, most people in the city are certainly compassionate about those who rent, especially those who rent who are our lower income neighbors. The issues that you will find in DC that affect our lower income neighbors who are renters are extremely severe. We have long supported rent control, and we've long supported making sure that we create more affordable buildings that are geared towards renters. You will see in our administration a list of about 11,000 units of affordable housing that have been built just in the last 3.5 years alone. Almost all of those new units of housing are geared towards renters. And then, of course, we have done a lot to preserve housing as well. However, I believe, and I think most of you would agree, that in a city that is trying to be compassionate and making sure that we are caring for people who are most in need, we actually probably need to go way beyond just rent control and having affordable housing units. We need to make sure that we have a government that in every way is reaching out to those who are in need. For instance, in our administration, we have taken on the tough challenge of trying to move our homeless neighbors off the streets and out of shelters into affordable housing. Before we took office, the District of Columbia did not have a permanent supportive housing plan. When I was on the city council, there was something that was introduced to the city council and to the city called Homeless No More, a 10-year plan to end homelessness. But it wasn't really a plan, it was more just an idea, because it never got off the ground. What we have done under the 2 deputy mayors, under our Department of Human Services, is to literally take that great idea and to put it into action. And over the past 3.5 years, we have queued up 1,000 units of housing that don't just give people housing, but give them all the wraparound services that they need in order to be like everybody in this room, to have a house, to be able to have a job, to have this type of either mental health, substance abuse, or job training that all of us may take for granted, but that you need to be able to stay into a unit. Our plan going forward, and we sent this to the Council of the District of Columbia, is to keep building units like this. So that we're not going to have our neighbors on the street, we're not going to have them in inadequate, inferior, and inhumane housing any longer. That's not the type of city that you think about when you think about the nation's capital of the United States of America. Thank you very much. We've also done a lot with our Attorney General's Office and the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs. You know that even having rental units is not enough if those rental units are substandard. We, in 2008, sued 23 of the most egregious slumlords in the city for the code violations that we have. Since we have done that, there have been millions of dollars in repairs. The court has helped us out. Our office of our DCRA department has helped us out. And the action that was taken as a result of the lawsuits is the most unprecedented work on dilapidated rental buildings in the city. We also, of course, in 2008, that very same year, made the Office of the Tenant Advocate into an agency, which raised it out of the sub-agency position that it was in before. And then a year later, in 2009, we launched the Proactive Inspections Program. I mean, you all know how it's gone before. You call into DCRA, before Linda Argo and her team started making it more responsive, you didn't even get much of a response to the complaints about code violations. Well, then that started to change with better management, but why should the residents of the District of Columbia even have to bother to call in if there is a problem in a building? Why isn't DCRA out there inspecting it proactively? So that's why in 2009, with the Attorney General's Office, the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs instituted a proactive inspection of every single apartment building in the entire city. It is our goal to make sure that all of the 4,800 multifamily rental units in DC are inspected as part of this proactive inspection program. First time it's ever been done in DC. And when, of course, we find code violations, we will get them improved as we go along. So this will result in not only the affordable housing that our renters need, but quality affordable housing, which is something that people have been calling for a long time. Lots of other issues. Certainly the Office of the Tenant Advocate is important, but also is the Rental Housing Commission. We of course know that as soon as the council votes on those names that we have sent down to them over the past couple of years that haven't been voted on, that we will be able to have that Rental Housing Commission, and we cannot wait. Because of course all nominees should be approved in a timely manner. They should be immediately given a hearing and voted on. That's the whole point of having the advise and consent process. But of course that's not always the case. But if you had to pick one commission that the council should have acted faster on, I think all of us in this room would have agreed it is that Rental Housing Commission. Thank you very much.